Hi everyone, welcome to this podcast. In this podcast I'm going to talk you through all the lessons that I have learned by creating art every single day consistently for 5 years. I started my art business in 2019 and in the year before I started to draw much more consistently, and nowadays I am a full-time artist. I host art courses and workshops, I have an online community, I work in my own studio where I create large canvases, I illustrate for green businesses and green organizations, and art is very much part of my everyday life. It is my job. It is still my hobby. I still love it, even though people say, don't make your hobby your job. I very much still love doing it. And I just want to tell you a little bit more about that journey that I went through to get where I am now. Of course, I am not saying that if you create art every day for 5 years that you'll become a full-time artist. But if you integrate something into your life in such a significant matter, it is naturally going to be a big part of your life. Whether that is a hobby you're really passionate about, a side business, or if it's going to take over your working life and becomes your career. So naturally, that is a change that made a huge change in my life. But there's also things that I have learned in my art itself that I would have never learned if I only made art on occasions. They say if you spend 10,000 hours practicing something that you become a master, that you will master that craft. And 10,000 hours is about that amount of time, right? And if, for me, making art every day allowed me to take my art less serious. And if that sounds controversial, if you think that creating more will make you take your art more serious and your craft more serious, that, for me, it means that if I mess up a drawing or if I create a sketchbook page and that page goes wrong and I mess it up, that I don't take it so personal. It's just part of the journey. I know there'll be another day tomorrow where I create more sketches. There'll be another painting, there'll be another drawing. And I know that this is now so much part of my weekly, daily, monthly habit. Now, one page, one picture is not, it becomes less important. It's only a small step, part of a much bigger journey. I also think that by creating art on such a regular basis that you become much quicker at it. And I start to realize that I don't need hours and hours to actually pick up that sketchbook and start sketching. Sometimes just one pen and a bit of paper is enough to make a drawing. I have sketchbooks that I take with me when I travel, when I go somewhere, when I travel, when I have a business meeting, when I go on holiday. So there are sketchbooks that I carry with me the entire time. And there's big papers that I only use when I'm in the studio. So I have different materials for different times in my life and different ways they fit in. There are sketchbooks that I use for sketching, for preparations for larger pictures. These are my messy sketches. They're okay it's okay if they're messy. They have no other purpose than just brain dump and give all your ideas to the paper. Then I have other sketchbooks where I try to create more curated art and where I'm really working on my style and I focus on composition and lighting and really create art that is more together. And that's also part of my journey. I think the biggest thing that I learned from creating art every day is that consistency, that habit, the fact that it's okay to make time for art. It's my self-care, it's my it is a way for me to be grounded, and it's a way for me to have some alone time with myself. Even though I do art for my work, it's still very much a form of self-care for me. I did not create any art for years before this period of time started. There was a period in my life when I was studying, I was really busy, I was studying law. When I first moved to London as well, I worked in this really busy corporate career. And there was years where I barely made any art. And now I think, I wish I made more time for art. But other things in my life took over, and that's okay as well. And then once I started to make art again, I realized how much I had missed it. And how good it felt to grab that pencil and that paint and to start creating again. I really refound that love for creativity. And it didn't take long until I wanted to leave my job and make art my full-time profession. The strange thing was, though, that I didn't really know anyone who was an artist. This was a completely new venture for me. All my friends were employed. Almost no one had their own business. There was a few people who ran their own businesses, but in completely different sectors. And I didn't really know what I started. And I think in a way that was... it sort of helped me, because I started with a completely open mind and I didn't have any idea what it was exactly that I started. I just knew that I wanted to paint a lot, draw a lot, and that a lot of people asked me how to do the same, how to make art a habit, how to paint something, how to draw something. And I often used to teach people knitting and crochet at the time as well. I don't really do much needlecraft anymore nowadays. I really focus on painting now, but that's how it started. People started to come to me and ask me if I could teach them something, and then I started to think, well, I'm actually quite good at this. My